Okay, so we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to an amazing session as part of Hack or a Hackathon 2025. My name is Ishita Soni. I'm the host for your evening, and today we have with us Mr. Gurdeep Singh. Hackathons are where crazy ideas come alive. But here's the real challenge: what happens after the hackathon ends? Most projects stop at the demo stage, sitting in a GitHub repo. But a bold few, take that leap into the real world and become startups. Tonight's session is about exactly that: 0 to 1, how to take your hackathon projects toward a real startup. And to guide us, we have someone who knows this journey inside out, Mr. Gurdeep Singh. He is an executive leader in strategy and growth, an angel investor, product management expert, mentor to 20K plus students, and judge at 100 plus hackathons. Can you believe that? He has been on the front lines of innovation, helping students go beyond prototypes into ventures that actually create impact. He brings the mindset, the roadmap, and the honest truths about what it really takes to go from building for a weekend to building for the world. So get ready, guys. This isn't just another talk, it's your chance to learn how to turn sparks into something lasting. Let's welcome Mr. Gurdeep Singh. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ishita, and the entire girl tech leading community for inviting for this great session, which every student in the house must be waiting. Like how to do something with the projects we are building in the hackathon. Isn't it good? So before we start, so it's a very interesting thing because I can relate to my experience because that's how I started my journey, and eventually it started with the hackathons only, right? And it's a great thing that these people are building up this kind of community with helping other people also, students also across pan India, worldwide, so that they can also start getting importance of it, like why there is a hackathon and there is a project and what it lead to the great startups and ideas, right? That's great. So in this specifically session we'll talk about turning your hackathons, like hackathon projects, into specifically a startup. Like, was it a good idea? And if it's not a good idea, how to make that idea into a great idea so that you eventually start with it, right? So I'll quickly take it a summary of it. So it will be a kind of a storytelling kind of a session where you'll get to understand the importance of hackathon, the importance of project, and what would be needed to take it to the startup world, right? We'll do a comparison, do the learning, and we'll also learn about the framework which is must needed for it, right? So let's start with it. Harsh reality of hackathon projects. So it's good you are participating in hackathons and building up the projects, but there is a harsh reality also. And what is that? Let's get into that. 90% of the projects actually fails after the demo day. And why this is happening? It's not about your intent was not good or maybe you are not focused. But the thing is, there is a challenge, which is ki, like team is facing a lot of issues in terms of innovating that idea to make it a scalable. And why this is coming into this place? Because the students are not in touch with the right mentors. That's the huge problem. For right now, what is happening in a hackathon, we try to impress the judges, right? But in real life, let's say if you're turning your idea into actually a real startup, in that case you don't have to impress anyone. You have to genuinely solve a problem, and then and only you can able to succeed really, right? So let's get more into that. Before that, let's try to understand what is the hackathon actually and how this we can relate it to the startups also, right? So let's take an example. In typically hackathons, we have around, let's say, we build for 24, 36 hours, or maybe 72 hours, right? 2 to 3 days maximum. And our intention is very simple in that. Okay, let's pick a problem statement, make a idea feasible, and just go for a prototype, which is a very nice thing you should do, and everyone have to do that, right? It's a good thing. But the interesting things comes into the picture when you are actually working on a startup. It's a long commitment. Why a long commitment? Because see, if you're working with a team on a hackathon project, that is something you're building for a short time. But if you have a solid team there and the team says you the motivation and give you the confidence, ki, let's build this idea for actually, let's solve this idea, let's work on this project and solve for the real people. That comes the team, right? Team building for these startups. So you can relate yourself, right? Working for 2 to 3 days on a hackathon prototype, but startup need a long term commitment. And if you are able to get a right people during your hackathons, it's a very win position for you. You should invest your time in building up the things, right? Let's now understand, okay, what is the core framework, how we can actually do the changes, and how we can leverage that hackathon project into genuine viable startup. So there is only a 5 step. Everyone knows, I know most of you guys have read up about it, must be watching a lot of videos on the YouTube, maybe you have talked about, or maybe you're someone have mentored you, but that's a core principle. And what is that core principle? It's 5 step framework. The one is identify the genuine problem. Don't just participate in the hackathon just sake of solving a problem and get a winning prize of it. So if you ask me, hackathon is all about learning. It's not about winning or losing. It's about connecting with the right people, solving a right problem statement, make your connection solid, and see whether this problem is actually a genuine in the like whatever happening around the world. Are you able to contribute to it or not? That's how the real ignite fire would be coming from all of you guys, right? So picking up the right problem is the step one. Clearly define, okay, that this is my problem, this is my core problem, and this is the sub problem I'm solving it for. You don't have to solve it for, let's say, 10 different problems. Just pick a one problem. It could be anything, right? Just think of it. I'll give you an example. Just think of it. For example, when Bharat Pay started, right? So they see a disturbed in the market, okay, that there are a lot of already competitors. Paytm was there. I think PhonePe was also there, but they made a opportunity there. On every transaction, the user have to pay certain amount of amount they have to pay, right? And it varies from uh, transaction to transaction, right? And they leverage that opportunity. They said we'll make it a transaction free, so they don't have to pay any extra charges, right? Now, making that opportunity, they were able to scale their project. I'll say not a project, but able to scale their product. Exactly. So they have identified the core. Okay, this is what we have to solve, and rest the history is, right? We'll talk about more about how they are able to lift it, but that's an example I've given you. Now the step two comes, develop the MVP. So for example, if you're solving, let's say, a problem, and there are a lot of edge cases, use cases, maybe you would be thinking about a lot of features. Just stick to the one core fundamental thing which you are solving. Just develop MVP for that. No need to think about the uh, 10 15 odd features I have to invent this also. Usually this happen in hackathon. Let's say, for example, in a hackathon we are solving a problem, and when judges come, we try to explain them a lot of things. My software can do this, they XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. But in real startup, if you're building something, you have to stick to a core fundamental problem. And for that problem, what is the feature you are having? Just work on that, because that is the only will be validating your actually idea. Okay, whether you are going in the right direction or not, right? Let's move to the now step 3, which is attract the early adopters. Who are now these people? So basically, these are the people who actually give you the feedback. And what is happening during the hackathon? We do participate. We put a lot of energy, effort, everything. But the main things comes into the picture when there is a no real user. But while building these startups, building the project, or maybe you can say your idea, working day and night, regressing, doing a iteration on the product, this will work or not. But the main point is whether you are able to attract the real people or not, who can actually test out your product, tell you ki boss, you have built this feature, but there is a loopholes, there are the certain things which need to be taken care. Isn't it interesting, right? So let's further move. Gather as much as the feedback you can. What I have personally observed during the hackathons now, we are least bothered about for whom we are actually solving. Have we taken enough feedback to justify this, right? But if your team is doing this, then I'll say, boss, you are on a right track with the right people, and it's a right approach of solving a real problem. Talk to the people, tell them, take the feedback. That feedback, more you'll take, the more clarity of the problem statement would be coming. You never know. For example, if you have started with, for example, a problem, you thought it's a big problem, but while interacting with the users, taking up the feedback, you landed up, okay, this is not a genuine problem, the user is figuring out or maybe looking out for some other thing. Then you landed up with the new problem statement, that is a.1. Then you start working on it, right? So that's very important thing here. Gather the feedback as much as you can actually this, and try to implement this thing in your hackathon projects also. Before showing to the judges, try to engage with the other teammates, the members. Maybe if the hackathon is online, you can put it on a discussion forum or a LinkedIn ki, hi guys, I'm working on this project, and there is a quick summary, or maybe you can give a glimpse of it, and then a survey form is there, you can talk about it, right? The more you can do the user interviews, try to get in touch with the people you don't know, but try to show your project and try to take the genuine feedback from them, right? Don't restrict yourself to within the your family or your friends. Okay, now the major important things comes. You have built up, you are picking a right problem, talking to the users, everything is done, you have a bright product also. But is it something you are able to make a good business model or not? That is very important. You have to think about it. Let's say during the hackathon, if you thought of it, we have solved a biggest problem in the world, but if you're not able to think about the business aspect, then I'll say then you have to do a step back and do your homework again. Because every problem, if you're solving, it's good, but there is always a second thing comes into the picture, that is your business models, right? So far, I'll take a 1 minute gap here. Just wanted to recap the things which we have uh, seen so far. Why? Because it's very important to pick a real problem in your hackathon only. And if you are able to meet right people, then you are sorted for next. Let's say if you're participating in your first year, your coming 3 years are sorted. Try to spend as much as time with those people, and it's very important. Solve as much as dig into the system, whatever you can do, right? Let's take a quickly 15-20 second gap and take up the questions if we have, and after that we'll move to the next step. And it's very interesting, I'll tell you, it's going to be very very interesting. There are a lot of fact insights out there, but as a student we don't know how to connect those undotted, right? Let me take these some question if we have. After that, we'll
Mhm.
move to the next thing.
Okay. Um, this is the first question that we had. How to
Okay.
actually survive so much competition and pressure in the startup world, being a student, alongside managing college? Literally, every second person is building a startup. True story.
Yeah, interesting question. Interesting. Let's split this problem into a time management first thing. So, if you're an engineering student, right, and you genuinely wanted to build something, you have to do a hustle. So, right now, everyone is doing XYZ work. It's a competitive world, to be very honest, and you have to take out the time. If you're not able to take out time right now, then how you gonna survive, let's say, after 4 years? If you're entering into a corporate, or maybe doing juggling with the things and building your startup, then I'll say, boss, this your journey of engineering start from college itself. You have to attend the classes also, you have to do the assignments also, exams also, you have to participate in competitions also, you have to give your time to your parents also, and still a lot of complaint will be there ki I'm not able to do that, and you have to maintain your grades also. But your real journey actually start from the college, and you have to be very proactive. So there is no extra solution for it. Put it your effort. If you are able to put your effort this time, you'll able to see the results after 4 years. That's how the thing is. I hope I
And
am
the
able to answer
second,
that. Yeah, please.
yes, thank you for answering, sir. I think the second part of the same question is how to survive the competition because everyone is building a startup these days. So,
Just be genuine. Be genuine. Pick the right problem, stick to it, do your homework, and be on the tips of fact what you are solving. If you're true to yourself, if you're true to solve a right problem, forget about the competition. Just forget about it. Just be practical. If you're, let's say, solving for this problem, you stick to it. It can take a time, but it will definitely gonna pay you. Don't think about competition. Kafi bheed hai. Don't think about it. Don't.
okay. And this is the second question that we have, sir. How to raise funding from investors, or is there any, or are there any programs or accelerators for early stage startups, and how to get into them? As there is DP, IIT from government, etc.
Great, great. Nice question again. So obviously there are many opportunity given by the government also. There are many incubation center also across pan India, and there are the ways how you can reach out to the investor. We'll get into that. Let me come into the further getting dig into the project ideation, and then we'll talk about how and when the investor will be coming into the picture. So far investor is not here. Think about it. You are just solving a problem, building an MVP, making a real working on a real problem, and helping out the people to use your product. Why they'll use your product, you are just figuring out this. And there is a stage come when investor will be actually entering into your idea. We'll talk about it.
Okay. So that will be for the second part of the session. And we have two more questions here.
Yeah.
This is by Sabita. I have
Okay.
this fear that someone might copy or steal my startup idea. So, what to do? Shall I not share about my startup to my friends and on platforms like LinkedIn? I have a
Interesting.
doubt.
It's very interesting. So, Savita, I'll be very honest with you. So, everyone have a lot of ideas. The main things come into the picture, execution part. I'll come into that part also. So you can think of n number of ideas, and same another friend sitting next to you, he also would be thinking of the same ideas. The main things comes into the picture. Are you enough good to take the right call at a right time and have a gut to execute the problems, like actually work on get your hands dirty and solving the problem? That is how the real impact creates comes into the pictures, right? So that's what you have to work on. I'll
So,
come
it
into that
says,
also.
was.
Yes. Yeah, please.
Okay, and this is the last question that we have right now. Um, Thank you, Vijay Lakshmi. Nice session. She got to learn a lot. Uh, I have a question: how to manage a team remotely for my startup, and how to ensure that they remain highly motivated and are productive.
Interesting. Most of the people, I'll say, in the real life and in the corporate or building the startup, it's a major big problem. You have asked about it. The first thing comes into the picture: are we having a right intent of the people, like right people in the team? If right people are in the team and their intent is very focused, I'll say very focused towards solving the real problem, then you don't have to do a micromanagement of it. The first thing into the startup only comes with a right people mindset. Then there are a lot of juggling and hustle you have to do to pick the right people. So that is the only solution. Just pick the right people in the early days. And if still you are not sure about the right people, then make them ready. Show them your vision. What is the vision related to this idea? Why you are solving this? Why this team is important? And once they're aligned to you and your thought process and the company vision, definitely they're gonna work for you, right? And the rest, if still there are the chances, then everyone needs some money, and then that's a different factor. Then you do anything, they'll not be focused, they'll not able to do, they'll only do only the work 9 to 5. That's a different story. But again, it's not a harm in that part also. It's actually differ from person to person. Some people are very kind of a, let's say, hustle nature. They really wanted to create something, a legacy in building the real and solving the problems for the society, and that's make them happy. Some people are more focused with the money also in the early days. So it's both the people are fair enough at their point, but you have to make sure right people are there in your team. That's how you will able to grow. Yes,
And I also have a question of my
please.
own.
Okay.
So, like, what do you think about building in public? Like, this is something which has been trending a lot lately.
Okay. I didn't get your question. Could you please come up again?
Yeah, like there's a trend going on these days, building in public. Like people post their entire journeys, like from the idea, how they built upon it. So,
Right.
like similar to Sabita, is it safe to do that? Like, would people steal your idea or something?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I'll be very honest with you. Again, the my thing, again, I'll come to the same part. If you're building in a public, it's good. Show the people your vision carrying forward. So that hunger you have to solve that genuine problem. And that's how the people start connecting with you. And people actually love these stories. When you tell them, like day one, I worked on this and did a lot of things, still 100 failures are there. People actually relate to it. And you, let me tell you, if you're taking that guts in solving real problem and not going for a job, and in early days taking a call up for, let's say, building up your own startup, I'll say you are in the top 1% of the people who are actually thinking in a some different way, apart from the people who are just sake of job, right? So consider yourself. And now that you need just a push, little bit of push, that push could be coming from, let's say, your family, friend, or maybe if you're posting on a LinkedIn or maybe social media platform, that's not a bad idea, I think so. If you are very keen about it, what you are solving, and you wanted to make sure that people start knowing about it, and you really wanted to connect with the right people, that's how you connect, right? Then don't forget, then I'll say, don't think about the competition or maybe your idea gonna steal, because you have already taken up the step one, and those people haven't took any steps so far. Think about it, right? So it's a good, if you're taking a step, do it. That's not an harm on that.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir, for answering all our questions.
perfect. Okay, now let's continue with the it. Okay, so far we have understood 5 steps, and it's very important. And you can see that these 5 steps are implemented everywhere. Think about any company, think about any product, think about any kind of a uh, consumer product. These 5 steps would be there. Every founder, Used to talk with the customer, try to understand their users, take the as much as feedback they can, and do a iterative changes on the product, and do a lot of efforts in reiterating the business model timely, right? So let's move now. What are the common pitfalls after the hackathon? This is actually genuine. Why? Let's say, for example, you are building a cool project during your hackathon, but what is something which we already talk about it? What is something which is missing? अब कहते हैं ना कि what we say, if you are cooking, let's say you are cooking a मैगी में एक्स्ट्रा मसाला क्यों डालते हैं हम, लाइक वेजीज क्यों डालते हैं, जस्ट टू मेक इट अ मोर टेस्टी, राइट? तो वैसे ही है, हैकेथन में सब पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, बट ऐसा कुछ तो लूप होल्स है ना अभी जो हर कोई नहीं कर पा रहा है. नॉट एवरी वन इज एबल टू डू दैट. वो क्या है? सबसे पहली चीज, रियल यूजर्स. हम रियल यूजर्स से तो बात ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. हमने बोला कि लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल, टिपिकली अभी क्या हो रहा है हैकेथन्स में, let's say we are working on decentralizing this xyz problem with blockchain, for example. My first question comes into the picture. Okay, fine, this is a genuine problem. Have you spent some time with the real users who are facing this problem? Now I don't want it you are taking a suggestion from your friend or father or mother. It's good to take, but not for this. Try to think about in a broader way, holistic way, that how you can take that, talk to the real user, right? And that is very very important here. So that's the only reason why many hackathon projects fail to engage with the actual user, or feedback nahi milta hai. If you're not talking or maybe taking a talking to the real users, you're not able to get a feedback. And that's why we land up only a kind of a prototype, वो बस हैकेथन जूरी मेंबर को इम्प्रेस करने के लिए, एंड आफ्टर दैट थिंग्स आर गॉन. It could be chances. I'm not saying not everyone do that same thing. There are chances out of 100. Let's say one team is there who are very damn sure about it. No, we wanted to build up. We wanted to do this. We'll talk about it later, right? But it's an interesting thing. Now, interesting, one more point comes into the picture. What happened actually after the hackathons? You won the hackathon, excitement is there. Yes, we did it. Amazing. We are rocking on the floor. But what next? Team is not so much of aligned to it. That was a kind of just a project, and it's all about winning a competition. Things done. Again, I'm saying not every team thinks like that. But let's say 95% in the cases this happened. So far I also participated in, I think so, during my college time, 150 plus hackathons. Maybe it could be something like that, I'm not sure. It's online, offline, competitive, product based hackathon, combined hackathons, right? So that actually happens, right? So this is the one thing, again important, over engineering solutions. What happens if you're solving a problem and your team is having, let's say, 4 members? Let's say, for example, I'll give you basic example. One person know ML, data analytics, or maybe blockchain, front end development, Android. We try to consolidate each and everything in that problem statement. वहां पे एक्चुअली में नीड भी नहीं है कि हमें ये चीज में ब्लॉकचेन घुसाना चाहिए, नहीं करना चाहिए, बट स्टिल वी डू दैट ओवर इंजन. इट्स गुड, आई विल से, इफ यू आर थिंकिंग इन दैट वे, इट्स गुड, बट नॉट ऑलवेज. So these are the some of the key things which actually make you not able to get the to the real problem, and you are not able to give up, you are not able to get actually a good result out of that hackathon. If your intention is just to win the hackathon and work on some prototype, good. But if you're actually thinking to build a scalable startup, then also you have to think about these small things. If you're participating in, let's say, first hackathon, solve a problem, address the things, don't do over engineering, make the proper stack. Okay, this is my product, this is the features, and this is a technology, I'll stick to it. I'll check whether this technology is fitting into my this area of making that product or not. If still there are improvement, talk to the mentor, jury members, try to take their inputs and learn from them. Let's say if in first hackathon you're not able to win, absolutely fine, but you have a learning how to scale this problem now, and keep doing the same process. Talk to the real users, take the feedback, talk to the mentors, jury members, recheck your technology. In the second hackathon, implement it, right? Stick to it. Don't do over engineering. Don't do anything just to impress the judges, right? So actually, if you are very keen about making your project into a real MVP model, what is this MVP? Can anyone tell me what is this MVP? Or maybe the further in going slide will talk about this MVP. But right now, just think about it. What is missing? What is that thing which is very important and it's missing? Focus. It's a focus. If your team is very focused about the problem statement and you are very serious and you guys are very committed to it, long term commitment has been given by your all the team members, then you can actually scale that up. I've talked about the MVP earlier also, I think so. I forget, we have talked about MVP, right? So MVP is nothing, just a minimum viable product. Just start and stick to the initial features which are very, very important in terms of taking your ideas and validating into the market. Is it clear? I hope so. Let's think about it. Right now we are just talking about how to leverage that opportunity where you are building a project and how to take that project actually into a real scalable model. So here comes the impressing the so for example, what happens, like from impressing judges to delegating your customers, delighting your customers, sorry, right? What is that? Let's stop here for next 15-20 seconds. Let's take some questions and after that we'll move to the next thing.
Um, the question is again from me, I think. Um,
Okay.
like I've been saying that the difference between an MVP and
Hmm.
an MLP, like people like to call it, a minimum lovable product. So how does one go from a minimum viable product to minimum lovable product? Like what features to add that it's actually useful and the
Very,
users love it?
very interesting question. I'll say your journey start from MVP only, where you are building a minimum features for the set of users, where you make them user feel happy about your product. The feedback start coming and people are appreciating your product. Ki, yeah, this is great. We need it. This is the right call for it, and that's a right problem. For example, I'll tell you. Uh, if you take an example of Zomato, what is happening there? Is it a MVP now? No, it's not a MVP. But we'll say it's a most lovable product of the people. Why it is so? Because the right marketing or a content things are coming with your product. So let's say you, in the night you are sitting at with your laptop and thinking about kuch, let's eat something. Zomato pop-ups. You are waiting for me. The dinner is here, right? That is how you are able to hit to the people, your users at the right time. So it's a kind of that, and iteration comes into the picture. MVP just build the right features which are very important for them. Once you gain the trust of the people, add on one by one, do the lot of experiment, then it comes to the lovable product, right? I
Okay.
hope I have answered the question.
Yeah. I'll
Okay,
think more upon it. Thank you,
very
sir.
nice, very nice. Okay, let's move to the next section of it. Okay, right now in a hackathon we are just impressing the judges, but we are not concerned about the customer. If that mindset or maybe our focus is diverted to the customer segment, no, I have to serve my customer first. If during your hackathon Like most of the judges are looking and are looking forward to engage with the participant to get this insight whether you have taken genuine feedback from the users or you concerned about customer or not. It's not always about I have used this XY technology and we have made. And to be very honest, I'll be very honest here, hackathons are not about always about the you're solving something with the technology. It could be improvement areas on the pre-exist things also, right? It could be anything, but think about the customer. Who are your end users? How they'll react, how they'll see your product. Are they happy? This feature made them very happy or not? Correct? Shift complete your focus to the customer mindset completely. Why this is very important? Because in early days, if you are able to take that call, it's very nice because you're keeping your shoes in the customer, keeping your foot into the customer's shoes, right? And that's how you build a scalable products or the scale the things. As I already said, I was talking about design for real users. Now in this hackathon, do one thing. Whatever is your problem statement, don't take feedback from your friends or relatives or maybe the people who know about your project. Take a feedback from the people who don't know anything about it. Let them try it, right? If you're making consumer, let them try. If you're, let's say, making a SaaS product, let's figure out and share your product with the people who can be a right fit for them. Let them use it. Let them use it for, let's say, 6 hours, 7 hours, because you have a limited time to make it, right? Make a prototype and give it to the someone, then take a blunt feedback from them. And don't be biased about it. Don't ask is it good or not. Be subjective. Just give a again a problem statement while asking them, okay, this is the thing, what you are looking for in it. Is your problem solvable by this thing or not? Just ask this kind of questions, right? Try to understand your customer, what they are actually looking for it. That's why again I'm saying, completely make your focus toward the customer. That's how you're able to build it. Now interesting things comes into the picture. Say we have learned about it, the 5 steps. What was the 5 step? The first thing is just pick a right problem. If you're able to pick a right problem, then the second part comes the right team, right? Then the third part comes into your commitment, passion for it. Then you start solving it, talking to the users, taking a feedback, make the business model also. Now once this is done, now it gets the eyes of investors, catch the eyes of from the investors. Okay, these guys are solving something interesting. And what is that? Is it a worth? Is it a scalable problem? Are they genuinely solving for a customer? Think about it. Investors think like that. So far, how many users they have served, and what is the feedback they are getting from the user? If you're able to solve this thing, you'll eventually get a investors. And that's how this journey comes into starting of it, right? Will not get, so there is a different funnel for it. In this call or this session will not talk about how to approach investors, but this is the how investor comes into the picture. I getting my point. Now I was talking more about users, product, feedback. Why this is important? Just implement in this your current project, what you'll be solving for this hackathon, right? The first stage comes into the initial stage where you have to start with only just 10 dedicated users will be using your product and they are willing to give you a feedback. That's your first 10 users. And to be very honest, it's very difficult to find your first 10 users. Very difficult to find. It's not something you have to randomly taking a feedback from here and there. No. Of proper people who are giving genuine feedback to you. Once you are able to do that, the growth phase comes into the picture. Now start expanding to the 100 user. And how you are able to do that? By leveraging the feedback. and the optimizations you have done so far on your product, and actually that is meeting their needs. That's very important, right? Now scaling up. What is this scaling up? So if you remember, in the starting we have a 10 users, and those 10 users are highly satisfied whatever the service you have given, or maybe they are liking your features. They have genuinely invested in you, right? And then you can start aim for 1000 users, and that's how the journey comes. It's not something you have built a thing or maybe a product, and over the night you'll eventually get up the paid customer or something like. No, it's not like it. Take a time. You have to go through each and every single cycle of it. You have to talk a lot to the customers. Let's say you launch a feature, but your users are not satisfied, or maybe their um, experience is not up to the mark. I'll tell you the real example now. So let's say, for example, if you have seen, and there are the couple of sales happening on Amazon or Flipkart, and not right now, but before, I'll tell you, ki there was a certain, there were the some times before this year, or maybe in the last couple of years, there were a time where the Amazon have done some changes around the color, or maybe changes around the buttons, or maybe the pattern how the users actually select the products to their bucket. There was a certain kind of thing, small thing they have done. And on the early stage we don't understand this, but there was a dip in the sale also, because the customer is completely habited towards the previous kind of a layout, or maybe design, or the button, or maybe color sigma. That's also comes into the picture, human psychology, how the people are looking at your product, what is the UI you are using, what's the design of it, right? There are a lot of things you have to do a experiment and come up with these solution, right? And I'll tell you the key lessons which I have learned so far. And it's not something I have learned completely. No, it's not like that. It's a iterative process. But I'll tell you my experience around the hackathons. My experience is all about, you start executing the things. Don't think about your idea will get stolen by other people or not. Don't think about it. Just execute it. If you have that hunger, passion for it, to solve a real problem, and you are a person who can really execute the things fast, then I'll say competition is not for you. The competition is for the people who just kept on thinking about the stuff but not able to execute, right? We have to be uh, get on the things and do the stuff first. That is first important thing. Second is utilize every opportunity to club with the people, do the networking. These small events like hackathon, conference, tech events, be in that events, and those event will actually help you connect with the right people, and these people will gonna help you in the further journey of it. And the genuinely the last part comes, just solve the genuine problems. Don't solve the things just for sake of technology. If you're genuinely passionate and solving a real thing, you will see outcome. And trust me, I'll be stick on my words. If you're genuinely concerned about the problem you are solving and putting a right value to the society, it's more than enough good, I'd say. You are at the top 1% who was aiming to solve something big. And not everything comes with the technology. Technology help us to scale the things, right? It could be a small, let's say, maybe hardware you have made, maybe device you have made, where technology is not there. You can do the integration further, but first think about the problem and solve it like a leader. This is your problem, this is your territory, and you have to solve it. And that's the learning I have from my past experiences. First is be a execution guy first. Obviously you have to think about the problem also. If you have think about very crazy stuff and If you're not able to execute it, then it's not of any use, right? Be first executing the things, collaborate with the people, meet them, take each and every single opportunity to meet the people. And the third, genuinely solve the problem, care about the people. That's how you are a good leader. That's how you able to scale the things. And that's a core fundamental of every projects, I'll say, right? Just think of it. I'll give you an examples. Just think of it. Have you heard about this Insta DAP platform? It was a project now turned into a platform. Just think of it. It is decentralizing the finance. Think about it. Isn't it good? There are a lot of stories in India also. Think about they post is a completely a platform, and the people comes and participate, and once they get with the right people, uh, won the competition, and the right people are there, then start working on their projects, and that project turns into the now startups also. There are n number of story. You can just do a case study, spend your time, spend some spare time with your teammates, so actually hunting and doing research what and how many projects been part of this XYZ hackathon, and how many of them are actually taking it further. Just spend some time. Just if you're very particular about now you have to solve it, get into it, right? We'll talk about the call to action from ideas to reality now. So far we understood like how to take my project to that level where I feel it's a right problem and I have to address it and I have to solve for the real people. Now there are these certain call to action which we say CTA. You must have heard this term around the product. Okay, what is the CTO of that feature? Or maybe what is the CTO of that kind of action? Whatever the things you are doing. So this thing comes the one feature focus. This is the learning. One feature focus. Keep yourself to the one feature. That's it. Just concentrate on that part. Second is secure one real user first. If you're solving just one real user who actually give you a value to what you have made, spend some time. Don't think about and go in a rush, or maybe I got a feedback. I've thrown a Google form. He have given me a feedback, 5 rating. Oh, amazing! No, it's not like that. Spend some time with it. What is that user was hunting, what that user felt after using a product. Try to understand that psychology. Think about each and every single user who actually use your product. What is that user felt after using your product?
Um, I think there has been a Wi-Fi issue from Sir's end. Um, we are sure he'll be joining us soon. In the meantime, everyone, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat. You will be answered soon.
So sorry, here's a electricity cut. So sorry for it.
No worries at all.
Okay, we were talking about the real user actually, and it's very important, guys. Just think about it and solve like an entrepreneur this time. If you're participating in the hackathon, think about you are the boss of your product and you have to make it like anything. Just think about talk to the user, right? Feedback. Again, everything is coming to this. Talk to any founders of the company, they'll say only the two things. One is talk as much as you can with your customers, users, take the feedback from them, do the experimental changes based on the feedback, fail fast, learn from it, and don't be shy taking a feedback from the people, right? Improve your product like anything. Just improve your product. That should be your goal. If you're participating, again I'm saying, if you're participating in the hackathon just for the sake of money, it's if that's your motivation, it's good. But if you're taking that project seriously and you wanted to make your own impactful story while building it with your team, do the improves. Keep on doing juggling, hustling with the same idea, right? And the best part comes. Always remembers, great startups begin with the right purpose and vision. It's not about funding. First, focus on the vision and the purpose of it. Create the value in the market. Make the people fan of your product first, right? That's how you're able to scale the things. You can you can see the pictures, right? One is a dark and one is a glamour pic. It all comes if you are purpose driven, right? Just think about it. Make the best people in your team, take the best of every opportunity, and get the things done. Funding would be coming, that's not an issue. But first, they're picking up the right problem. Always remember this. The great startup begins with the purpose, not a funding. Always think about it. Obviously, funding is important, but first, make your value in the market. Okay, why your product is important, why users want to use your product. Make it a strong blend, and investors would be eventually coming there. So that was an idea about how you can take this hackathon very serious. And if you genuinely wanted to connect with me, so I would say you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and this is my handle on Instagram also. If you really wanted to get more talks about how to leverage this opportunity, how to actually work on it, if you are stuck somewhere, you need a mentorship, I'll be more than happy to actually help you out there, right? So that was an overall idea. Maybe in the future, if we get a chance, we'll get more into a specific things. Right now, we have just discussed the overview of it, but it's not limited to that. Each and every funnel have separate things in that, right? So yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, and it was a great experience to share a stage again and recalling my college time where I was also participating in hackathon, worried about what is the problem, how to make a right team, is it a good idea? Will people stole my idea if I don't talk about it, or I'll talk about in the public? So there are a lot of questions I can understand, and I have a lot of strong empathy towards the young innovators, students, because I truly believe the right things come from these hackathons only. It's a great initiative. Thank you so much, Ishita, and your entire team for making it a great platform where all the people understood the importance of this hackathon. And that's how we give a chance to the young innovators and the new entrepreneurs. So it's great.
Thank you so much, sir. We are the lucky ones here to have you with us. Um, so, in fact, I had another question.
Yes,
Um,
please.
um, like how, like you talk about that we have to satisfy the user's needs, right? So,
Yeah,
how does one balance the user's need and the business model? Because sometimes they might conflict a little. So,
understood. Then again, I'll say it. Everything start with the problem. Not always. Just think of it. I'll say not every problem solution come with the business model. right? But you have to first think about it. If your mindset is complete in the direction, I want to make it a scalable business, you first have to identify your industry first. What is a gap in that industry? What is a market size, right? And that stats you can find on simply on a Google. Nowadays the information is floating like anything on internet, right? And sorry, can you just give me the question again? Got diverted from it.
Like sometimes balancing the user's needs and the business model, like what the
Yeah,
investor wants from you, they get a
right.
little
No, it's a
difficult.
yeah genuine concern. The one time you have to let's say be particular about it, your users are very happy, but at that same time investor is maybe most worried about ki what are the sale you have done so far. But that I'll it's a very typically I'll tell it's a call of a founder there, whether you wanted to work with the that kind of investor or not. If investor is having a right mindset and actually he wanted, okay, everyone wants a money, that is by sure, everyone wants a business by sure. But the first thing comes, if investor is not showing any empathy towards the customer or your users, why would you work with that investor? You'll get into a trap. Investor would be pushing you a hard go do the sales, and one time comes into the picture when you drop your entho, your motivation toward the user, you start moving ahead with the business only. Then I'll say it's a founder call. Before getting any investment, you have to do your research whether this investor would be lying with my vision or not. So it's a complete research oriented work, I can say.
So it's on the founder then. Okay.
Obviously, as a founder you have to take a lot of critical decisions, like lot of critical
Hmm.
decisions. You have to think like a first principle guy, and you have to think whether I want to work with this person or not, because at the last it's your baby, you have to grow it. Is somebody interfere into that system, and you are getting diverted from your the first way of serving to the people, if that is not getting fulfilled, I would say don't do hurry up in taking a decision, don't work with them, I'll say that.
So
Yeah.
true. Thank
Yes.
you so much, sir.
I have answered your question.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir. I think the audience must have taken away a lot and they must be thrilled for the hackathon now, ready to build something actually
Yes.
impactful.
Right.
Um, So I would like to close this session now. This has been an incredible session. A big thank you to you, Gurtej sir, for walking us through the journey from hackathon idea to startup reality. Your insights were equal parts inspiring and grounding, the kind of advice you can actually act on. And thank you to all of you, the Hack Aura community, for tuning in live. Remember, Hack Aura isn't just about competing, it's about learning, growing, and building futures together. Your hackathon project doesn't have to end here. With the right push, it can become something real. As we wrap up, take Gurtej sir's word with you into your projects. Build bravely, think bigger, and then maybe this hackathon could be the starting line of your own startup story. That's it for tonight's session. Keep creating, keep experimenting, and we'll see you at the next Hack or a Live. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank
Gurtej
you.
sir, once again. And
Thank you.
we will be ending the stream now.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.